Good afternoon, Steel City. Welcome to the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On today's episode, number 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers GM O.Kahn speaks out of the QB position and gives us the possible starting QB for the 2024 season. I will let you know what he said from the NFL Combine. The Pittsburgh Penguins, all-important West Coast Canada road trip, nets them a 1-3 trip, and now has them on the outside looking in for a playoff spot. Will changes be coming at the trade deadline Friday? The Pittsburgh Pirates spring training continues with some position battles up for grabs, and their number one pitching prospect on the fast track to make the Major League team. The Pitt Panthers NCAA men's basketball team has done something they hope the NCAA tournament bigwigs have noticed for an at-large bid. Our prayers and condolences out to the family of Andy Russell, Steelers captain, linebacker, Super Bowl champion. After his recent passing, I will share a personal moment I encountered with this great gentleman / Pittsburgh Steelers player. All this for our Steel City fans coming up on episode 10 on the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go! Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, this is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. This is the 10th episode of the Yinzer Report. I've made 10 shows. Hopefully everybody out there is enjoying it. I hope everybody likes it. And I'm looking to do another 10 more on IE Sports Radio. So IE Sports Radio for the last 9 years, IE Sports Radio has brought you amazing content ranging from the interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports, cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to keep up with the latest in sports and with our shows. Also, check out our daily updated website, iesportsradio.com, for news, IE Sports Radio blog, our Hall of Fame. As always, yours truly is the 24th member of the IE Sports Radio Hall of Fame. Fans of the Month, pages dedicated to each podcast, our IE Sports Radio community forum, and stop by the shop, check out the merch. Thanks for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports, and as always, thanks for listening. Alright, so in the past couple of weeks and shows, we've been touching on how the Steeler quarterback situation is going to go, and we went out there and we all picked a quarterback for the past 5 to 6 weeks, and I mentioned on all my shows that I think everybody should calm down with who was going to be the quarterback. And let's wait till we hear from somebody in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization to let us know how they're going to go about it. So at the Combine this past week, Steeler General Manager O.Kahn took to the podium and gave us some clarification on it. So I'll go over what he said and some notes throughout the Combine press conference. And the headline was Steeler GM O.Kahn has full faith in Kenny Pickett, but he wants Mason Rudolph back. So Pittsburgh Steelers General Manager O.Kahn has been on the job for less than 2 full years now, but he sure sounded like a grizzled veteran when addressing the ever-important quarterback position, which the organization will try to figure out in weeks ahead. Kahn had back-to-back 15-minute sessions with local and broader media at the NFL Scouting Combine on Thursday. A few days later than he originally scheduled, his time slot was postponed because of death in his family, as we reported that last week. He basically did not commit or dispel anything regarding the quarterback position. He said, among things, it's a big year for Kenny Pickett, in whom he has faith, but who won't just be handed a starting job. Remember, Mike Tomlin said that after his season-ending press conference. Taking a quarterback in the upcoming draft is not out of the question. The organization hasn't ruled out adding a veteran quarterback, including Justin Fields. Now, keep in mind this press conference was last week, and I could tell you as of today the Steelers are going to be out of obtaining Justin Fields unless they can really hoodwink the Bears and get him for some kind of low draft picks. But I don't see it happening. Kahn went on to say, I have an obligation to this organization, to the players, to the front office, to every member of Steel Nation, to look at every option and every way of trying to improve this team, and we're going to do so. Starting last year when I got this job, competition was important to me. And that's no different to the quarterback position. Competition makes us all better, and that's regardless of position. I think that's just in life, regardless of what you do. While Kahn danced around some issues, he was clear on another point. The organization does want Mason Rudolph back. The Steelers and Mason Rudolph have begun preliminary talks to a contract extension, according to a league source. I can't tell when the deal would get done. Hopefully with us, Kahn said. It's just a process, and I understand it, but we'd like to have him back. I believe he wants to come back and compete, and he likes it here. Regardless of what Kahn said publicly about the possibility of acquiring Fields or even signing Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins, the number one priority is still re-signing Rudolph and running it back with Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph for another year. After that, anything is on the table. If Rudolph decides to sign elsewhere, the Steelers, of course, will adjust accordingly. But until then, it's Pickett and Rudolph. May the best man win. He went on to say, I have full faith in Kenny. He's shown us some good things, and obviously there were some issues with the offense, and I'm excited about the impact that new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith is going to have on him. Arthur's very optimistic about Kenny. I know they've communicated. We'll get into that later. And I said we'll have some strong competition there, and we'll see where it goes. I feel good about it. The Steelers are tied to Pickett for at least one more year, as we all know, and they'll approach the offseason accordingly. They hired Smith to run the offense and then added quarterback coach Tom Arth, who had an experience with Justin Herbert, and they kept on last year's quarterback coach Mike Sullivan as senior offensive assistant. Pickett hasn't been good in his 2 NFL seasons. As I mentioned, he was 14-10 as a starter. He has only one 300-yard game with more than one touchdown pass, 12 starts without a touchdown pass, and 13 passing touchdowns total. He often exited the pocket too soon, not trusting his protection, and his accuracy has been suspect after 2 suspect seasons. How will they go about finding Pickett some competition? Kahn went on to say there's different avenues for us. The draft, free agency, the trade market. I don't know about the trade market. I would say every one of those avenues is an option for us, but as I mentioned earlier, I could tell you I have an obligation to look at every avenue out there and try to make a better football team. He's going into year 3, speaking of Kenny Pickett, so I think that's part of it, Kahn said. Arthur was excited to work with him when he was hired, and I'm excited to see what Arthur has in store. Again, Rudolph would be a pretty good backup plan if Pickett falters again. We all know what Mason Rudolph did. He won his last 3 games of the year, pushed the Steelers into the playoff against Buffalo Bills in that wild card game. He played pretty well, and I remember saying on another show, if Mason Rudolph did play well in that game, which he did, it was 24-17, don't forget, late in the third quarter. So we were in the game. I did say Mason Rudolph should deserve a chance to be the starting quarterback. But it seems right now like they have Pickett in mind. And something must have happened out there between Pickett, Tomlin, O.Kahn, and Arthur Smith, because after he said this, after the press conference, it seemed like Pickett was the guy. So there was other things in the meeting he spoke about after his press conference, a couple of interesting things. He said the key to applying many good players as possible and working around them, and the Steelers know what they want to be. He said, I don't know from the mentality standpoint if anything's changed. We like being a physical football team. He did say the offseason will be the next step for the Steeler organization. And he went on to say the 2024 draft is encouraging because the Steelers, who have the 20th pick in the draft, we have multiple options available to them in the first round. They also have their picks, second and third rounds, 2 in the fourth round, which could allow O.Kahn and the Steelers additional flexibility. It's not the situation the Steelers had a year ago when they had 2 second-round picks, including the first pick of the round, but it's still good capital to have and pretty strong year. This is a really good draft, Kahn said. You have offensive linemen, the quarterbacks, the big guys both on offensive and defensive side, inside linebackers. There's some good playmakers at the receiver position, some really good corners. It's a good draft. He's excited. I've been fortunate. My first draft was really talented, and heading into my second one, I feel really good that the talent that is out there. So he seems to have caught some players have caught his eye at the combine. He did say at the end of last season, I think somebody asked him about the team and going forward. He said, I felt really good about how the guys improved every week as they played, especially his first draft class. But I sat and watched the Super Bowl at home like everybody else and watched Kansas City win the Super Bowl. And you know that's not what we want to be, so we have to be better. You know, everyone's got to be better, myself included. So the goal is for someone to be watching us in the Super Bowl. Okay, Omar. I'm down with that. So after all this happened, it came out that Arthur Smith did have a meeting with Kenny Pickett. This article popped up Sunday about Arthur Smith meeting with Kenny Pickett, and it said new Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith met with the incumbent starting quarterback Kenny Pickett in Florida. That meeting went well as they tried to embrace Pickett and giving him the opportunity in year 3. Even as they sought out their quarterback outlet, the Steelers started the process of rebuilding the third-year pass to Kenny Pickett. I'm told new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith recently spent time with Pickett in South Florida and that the two had a great meeting. The sentiment among many here in Indy, including some with the team, was that Pickett could get another chance after a disastrous 2023 season, due in part to the offensive struggles under then offensive coordinator Matt Canada. Smith should help maximize Pickett's skill set. Kahn, again, speaking of Kenny Pickett at the NFL Combine Thursday, he's shown us some good things. Obviously, there were some issues with the offense, and I'm excited about the impact that Arthur Smith is going to have on him. Arthur is very optimistic about Kenny. I know they communicated. We'll have some strong competition, and then we'll see how it goes. Kahn reiterated that he believes that the change from Matt Cannon to Arthur Smith at offensive coordinator will have a positive impact on Pickett, and he doesn't expect to change with the likely addition of at least 2 more quarterbacks to the roster this offseason. Kahn went on to say again, right now we have 1 quarterback on the contract. As you guys know, we're a team that's always kept 3, and that's probably going to be the path we take. So we have some work to do. We are excited about Kenny and excited about the impact that Arthur Smith is going to have on the offense and Kenny. And Tom Arthur also. So whoever signs or is traded for is drafted to be the other quarterbacks. The Steeler room should understand that they are competing for, and here's the key, not usurping Kenny Pickett's role as they enter. Steelers general manager O.Kahn said the team has full faith in starting quarterback Kenny Pickett, and they anticipate adding competition to the position this offseason. The team is excited about the future with Kenny Pickett as their starting quarterback. I don't know what you guys think, but all this to me has Kenny Pickett as the starter, and they're going to bring in competition, and may the best man win as they go forward. So at least it was good to hear that somebody came out and gave us a little insight on the quarterback position. As far as they're going to sign a veteran quarterback. Who it's going to be, we have no clue. Could be Ryan Tannehill, maybe Russell Wilson, as Taryn posted in the chat. How you doing, Taryn? Hello to Patty. Hello to Arthur. And hello, Taryn again. Thank you for joining, guys. So yeah, it could be they're definitely gonna add a veteran quarterback. They have to, because if they're saying competition for Kenny Pickett, they have to bring in another quarterback. Is it going to be Rudolph is going to be the veteran guy and they draft somebody? Could be that way too. We'll see how it goes. So we'll monitor that in the off season. There was a retirement in Pittsburgh this week. I don't know how many people pay attention to like the broadcasters of their favorite teams and everything, but the Steelers had a radio broadcaster. His name is Bill Hillgrove, and he retired on Thursday after 30 years as the play-by-play person in the radio booth for the Steelers in the passing of an era. Hillgrove replaced longtime play-by-play announcer Jack Fleming in the booth next to Myron Cope. You remember Myron Cope? He's the inventor of the terrible towel in 1994 before Cope retired in 2005. Cope has then passed on. Then it was Hillgrove and Tunch Ilkin, another Steeler who was passed on, who had joined the booth a few years prior on the calls for Steeler games. Eventually, color analyst Craig Wolfe joined Hillgrove and Ilkin on those calls. Craig Wolfe was the other play-by-play broadcaster with Hillgrove the past years. Hillgrove called 4 Super Bowls for the Steelers. He still cherishes his Super Bowl calls, and he has a 2-2 Super Bowl record in calling Super Bowls. And his favorite moment was the pass to Santonio Holmes to win Super Bowl 43. And his saying on it was, "I was always taught to watch the referees on any type of play before I made my call." So his eye coordination with the referees was very strong, and he would make the call with the referee. I found that pretty interesting. Usually when you're announcing a game, I mean, I've never done it. You're usually so into it, you're just calling what you see. So good luck to Bill Hillgrove. We'll see who's going to replace him. And we'll go on from there. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. We'll come back. I have a whole bunch of Pirate stuff to go over. I'm going to come up. We'll talk about the Penguins. We'll talk about Pitt basketball. And I have a very strong encounter I had with former Steeler Andy Russell. He had recently passed. I'm going to go through all that towards the end of the show, so please stick around to hear that. It's going to be very emotional. All right, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. This is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
Okay, welcome back. This is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Sorry about that drop on the New York Sports Show. Something got muted on the station here. I couldn't figure out how to get it back. I'll try to replay that again. Sorry about that. All right, so let's go through some sponsors here. Planet Jerky, Premium Biscuit Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, low in sugar, and high in protein. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on another planet. Find it on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Our other sponsor is Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You've just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch. Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend, and you want to add their smile when they receive it, then seal the deal with Cecilia's Hand, made sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. Find her at Instagram, Seal the Deal Wax Stamps, and Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals. Okay, so spring training is pretty much going on flu boom, and I have a lot of stuff on the Pirates here. I've been following it every day. So I'll give you the spring training updated projection of the Pirates' possible opening day roster. So catch is probably going to be Henry Davis will be the starter, with Yasmel Grandal being the backup. The first baseman's probably going to be Rowdy Tellez. Second base will probably be Liover Peguero. Still in the mix are Nick Gonzalez, Jared Chirello, Jihan Bay. Third base will definitely be Ke'Bryan Hayes. He's a Gold Glove winner, and he's ready to take the next step as the clubhouse leader for the Pirates. The outfield is going to be Connor Joe, Edward Olivares, Brian Reynolds, Jack Sawinski, possibly McCutchen while he DHs. And still in the mix are Joshua Palacios, Billy McKinney, Canyon Smith, Jagaba. Connor Joe is the Pirates utility player. He plays everywhere, so he'll definitely be there. The bench utility guys that will probably be there are Connor Joe, Jared Chirello, Jihan Bay, Joshua Palacios. But the Pirates value defensive versatility, so look out for great defensive plays for the rest of the spring to fill out this position for opening day. Your starters are likely going to be Ace Mitch Keller, Martin Perez, Marco Gonzalez, and Rosani Gonzalez. The battle for possible position for backup or somebody gets hurt is Josh Fleming, Chase Anderson, Bailey Falter, and Quinn Priester. The final two rotation spots, note here, Ronzi Contreras and Bailey Falter are out of options, so they have to make the team or they'll be exposed to waiver. So we'll keep an eye on that. The bullpen is going to be David Bednar. He's going to be the main closer. Ryan Borucki, Aroldis Chapman, Jose Hernandez, Colin Holderman. Now, Dari Moreta had a set spot, but he got hurt in the spring already, and he's possibly going to be out for the beginning of the season, maybe longer. Cameron Moldinsky, Josh Fleming, Kyle Nicholas, Colin Selby, Brent Honeywell Jr., and Hunter Stratton. Word is Josh Fleming might be the pick after it is said and done, because the Pirates feel strongly he can be an innings eater and a ground ball specialist. He has 59% career ground ball rate, so we'll look into that. Today I took some notes where David Bednar, the closer, has been slow this spring in training camp because of a lat tightness. He will be no throw for a few more days before the team reassesses him. Bednar said, just precautionary for this time of year. I'm being smart and not worried about the severity of the injury. I hopefully will be back soon. It was also announced today that Ben Cherington, the Pirate GM, said that the Pirates have told Paul Skeens he will start in the minor leagues. Cherington said there are boxes Skeens still must check, will remain in the major league camp to get working. This certainly isn't surprising, though he enters the 2024 as the number 3 overall prospect in baseball. He's only thrown 6.2 professional innings in his career. The Pirates are looking to contend in 2024, and it's not the best interest at the mindset or of Skeens to have on-job trading at the major league level. That said, Skeens currently certainly make his major league debut during the 2024 season. Giving likely inning limits, he could come up as a reliever, but It's obviously not you yet. I have something else on Paul Skeens coming up. All right, so this is basically a recap of how the last week went from Wednesday, February 28th, and the Pirates they lost the game to the Tigers, and they hit 2 home runs in the game. But the story of the training camp for the Pirates has been the pitching. So in this game, one of the players mentioned for the starting day lineup, Quinn Priester, he was very good in 2 innings, throwing 19 pitches to record 6 outs. 13 of his 19 pitches were strikes. Jared Jones was impressive again. He went 1.2 innings with 2 Ks and throwing 15 to 29 pitches for strikes. His second appearance this spring. In both appearances, his fastball has looked strong, topping out at 99.6 miles and an average of 97.8 miles, while his secondary pitches have also been excellent. So, like I said, the pitchers in the Pirates continue to impress so far in spring, and all eyes are on number 1 prospect, Paul Skeens, who was set to make his pitching debut the next day. Also on this day, spring training day, if you missed it, MLB Network aired their 30 clubs in 15 days, and they went out to Braden, Florida. It was a 20-minute episode on the Pirates. You can catch it on Pirates' official website if you're interested. It was pretty good. I watched it. Try to check it out. Okay, so now, this was February 29, 2024. Spring training, it was called in Bradenton Paul Skeens Day at spring training. The number 1 overall pick in his last year Major League draft made his grapefruit debut versus Baltimore. The ace of former Brewers ace and Cy Young Award winner Corbin Burns. As we all know, he is on Baltimore. The bats did pretty well that game. O'Neal Cruz had 2 hits. Ke'Bryan Hayes hit a home run. And Henry Davis hit his first home run and 3 RBIs. He's having a real strong training camp. So again, this was Paul Skeens Day at 2024 spring training, and his Pirates debut is a huge success. He only pitched 1 inning, but who cares? What he did is enough to see and look forward to. This future ace flashed some serious potential, hitting 102 and producing a clean inning. He threw 10 pitches, hit 10 pitches and four registered triple digits. That means over 100 miles more. His first batter faced was Orioles top prospect Jackson Holliday, and was able to get him to ground out on a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. I have a little skit of Paul Skeens after his start, and here's what he had to say. Hold on, waiting for it to upload.
Pitching in front of people is adrenaline. Pitching in front of people is adrenaline is a big thing, so yeah, just kind of wanted to see where we're at and have command of all the pitches. Yeah, it was nice. I mean, that's kind of just how it goes when you get in games. That's how it's going to be all season, hopefully after that too. So, but it was fun. Just got to get used to it. Pretty satisfied. Got some stuff to work on, but yeah, I'm ready to go. Feel good.
So that was him after he pitched. It was toward the middle of the game. You could hear in the background the fans cheering. So he had a very good first start. He did pitch again. He pitched Monday. He went the second outing. He went 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, no walks, 3 Ks. He did allow a home run, so he's doing good. hopefully he'll stay in the minors and work on some stuff. I'm pretty sure we'll see him up sometime this year. The Pirates are having a strong spring now with the bats. Henry Davis on Saturday hit his second home run in as many games. It was a solo shot in the first inning, and his impressive start to spring training is he's 5 for 13, 2 HRs, 6 RBIs through 5 games. The pitching was Contreras. That's Rosny Contreras, 2.1 innings, 1 hit, 1 K, no earned runs. And then you had other guys vying for a starting spot: Connor Holman, Brett Honeywell, and Chase Anderson. Connor Holman had a rough game. He threw two-thirds of an innings with 2 runs, 3 walks, and 2 Ks. Honeywell gave up a run also, and Chase Anderson pitched 2 innings just with 1 strikeout. Sunday came and they played Baltimore again, like I just said, and Martin Perez, who's going to be a big part of the starting rotation, came in and he threw 3 innings, 1 hit, 1 run unearned, 1 base on ball, and 3 Ks. Aroldis Chapman also pitched in that game. He pitched the scoreless inning. And this is the game, like I mentioned at the beginning, that Dari Moreta came in and he took the loss and he hurt his arm. So that was that for the spring training week. The note, again, with the Pirates as far as their hitting goes, they are leading spring training baseball in home runs. Yesterday it was at 18. I believe they hit 3 today. So they're at 21, and Andrew McCutchen, played in his first spring training game today, and he went 1 for 2. They have a starter. His name is Luis Ortiz. He pitched well his last game, so look for him to grab that 5th spot in the rotation. And the Pirates are being led in spring training by Nick Gonzalez, with he has the most hits. Oh, actually, he's tied with Key Brian Hayes for the most hits in spring training right now. So they have the hitting is heating up. Onel Cruz is leading off most games that he plays, and he's been doing real well. So that's Pirates. All right, let's get into the Pittsburgh Penguins. They fell pretty fast this past week as they went out on a West Coast trip. It started out pretty good, February 27th, which was last Tuesday, after they rode that great home winning streak they had. They went into Vancouver and they beat the Canucks, a heavily favored team to win the West. They won 4-3 in overtime. Eric Carlson scored the game-winning goal on an assist from Eller and Riley Smith, lifting the Pens to their 3rd consecutive victory, riding the high of their home winning streak. The Penguins won that game, that was off to a good start. I heard something where that game ended on the East Coast, somewhere close to between 1:30 and 2 o'clock in the morning. I was not up, Pittsburgh. One note on Sidney Crosby: he had his 1,000th career even strength point on an assist on Raquel's first goal. The next game they played was versus Seattle, and here's where the team started to go down the downfall. They got shut out 2-0. They basically won. They won the game, but they didn't score. They played the first 2 periods. I don't know how they didn't have 4 goals. They had 60 shot attempts. Now, if you follow hockey, 60 shot attempts, that's a lot. And compared to the Kraken, they only had 29. So they lost 2-0. They were 27-22 and 8 now after this game. Jeff Carter played in an accomplishment 1,300 NHL career game. Riley Smith was benched in the third period. And like I said, Jarry, Malcolm Crosby, Ella tried their best with skill and being physical, but that was all to no avail. They lost 2-0 to the Kraken. They went on to Seattle Saturday, and the Flames beat them 4-3, scoring 3 unanswered goals in the third period. The last 2 in like a 2-minute span. They blew a 3-0 lead, and it was all bad from there. The defense in front of Jarry was bad. Chris Letang made a terrible turnover for the Flames' 4th goal. He was shaking his head, and the loss just bothered him to no end. I'm sure if you go back to the interviews after the game, you could just hear from him. And then they went on Sunday to finish up the trip, and they got blown out in Edmonton 6-1. So the motto, I guess, after this game was just get on the plane and get home from this trip and start back up tonight versus Columbus. They played 59 games. They're 27-24, 62 points. They're 10 points out of the last spot behind Detroit and Tampa Bay. So the sense is the Penguins, after that road trip, have a very clear sense of what needs to be done before Friday's deadline, and charting a course accordingly, exploring all options with a view to bolster the club for the future. There's 6+ suitors for Jake Guentzel. So Pittsburgh fans, I believe Jake Guentzel is going to be gone by Friday. Or Friday. Friday is the trade deadline. So, let's get into some NCAA Pitt basketball. Check the chat. Bishop, how you doing? How many shots on goal did they have against the Oilers? Honestly, I didn't even look that up because the game was such a blowout. I'm sure you could look it up and find out. But, yeah, it was just a bad game. Jen B says, go Blue Jackets. Yes, we're playing each other tonight, Jen. Good luck. Okay, so the Pitt Panthers, they went to play Clemson Tigers February 27th, 2024 at the Little John Coliseum, Clemson, South Carolina. Clemson used a balanced attack and clamp on Hinson and beat Pitt 69-62 in a grueling battle. Freshman Carlton Carrington scored 18 points, and reserve man Ishmael Leggett scored 15. Jalen Lowe had 11, Zach Austin 10 for Pitt. Pitt committed only 3 turnovers, but just had only 4 assists on 20 of 61 shooting. Clemson's D smothered Blake Hinson, holding him to 2 of 9 shooting and 6 points. The defense on Hinson held him in check, with his last shot attempt at the game being at 13:06 of the second half. Despite this, Pitt did have leads of 50-46 with 8:44 left and tied the game at 52-52 with 6:25 remaining. Clemson went on to score consecutive baskets to hold the lead and seal it with a 3-point shot by Chase Hunter with 3.8 seconds left. So the next game was Saturday at Boston College, and it was a road game, and this was a very important game. It was a very important road win that they picked up. They ripped off a 90-65 road win at BC. They matched a season high with 16 three-pointers and shot 53.3%, 16-30 from beyond the arc, and cruised to a victory over BC. Pitt could be called Road Warriors because Pitt is tied for first in the NCAA among Power 6 Conference, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, Big East, SEC, and Pac-12 teams with 7 road wins this season. North Carolina, ACC, South Carolina, and Creighton, Big East, are the only other Power 6 teams that have 7 road wins. So they basically controlled this whole game. They had season highs, 3-point field goals 16, 3-point percentage at .533, field goals 33, and field goal percentage .541. The Panthers 20 assists were the second most in ACC play this year, and the 5th time this season they have 20 or more in a game. The 47 points in the opening half were the most in ACC play this season. It came out today that a good thing for them. Hopefully the tourney people acknowledge that 7 road wins, and now it comes out today that the Pitt Panthers took another step up in the all-important NET rankings after dominating Boston College. That NET is a NCAA evaluation tool. So the Panthers left Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts with a dominating win over Boston College, and the 25-point margin of victory helped them climb into the all-important NET rankings as the regular season nears its close. Pitt checked in 5 spots higher at number 44 after defeating the Eagles after entering the weekend at number 49. That makes them the number 5 ranked team in the ACC and one of 7 teams from the conference ranked in the top 60. So that's pretty good. They probably are on the outside looking in. Okay, so I'm going to talk about something pretty emotional that had happened this past week, and it involved a former Pittsburgh Steeler who has now passed on. His name is Andy Russell. He was a linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he had passed away last week. I just want to go over what I had in an encounter with him, and I got a little emotional when I heard he had passed, because I don't know how to say it. In my spare time, I'm a writer, but I'm not a writer for like an article or a news outlet. I write letters to former players, now players that are playing, and I belong to a community. It's called Through the Mail. It's on X Twitter. It's hashtag TTM for Through the Mail, hashtag TTM Success, meaning Through the Mail Success, where you write a player and you get something back from them. What I do is I have a lot of old stuff like cards and pictures and stuff, and I send them out. I go on these websites that are out there that have the addresses of all the former players. Sports Card Forum, TTM, is one, and sportscollector.net is another one. And you can look up the players' addresses and send them a letter, a personal note, or just, send something for them to autograph. If they respond to you, they respond to you. If they don't, they don't. But as everybody knows, I am a big sports collector and memorabilia, especially Pittsburgh Steelers memorabilia. And I wrote a letter to Andy Russell back last summer. And what had happened was I received it back, and I posted the picture on our band app, if everybody's seen it, and you could see what was wrote on it. I'm just bringing up the picture here to describe it to you guys. Yeah, so I wrote him a letter, and if you see the items I sent him a football card, and I sent him a Steelers medallion in a plastic case of Heinz Field, and he signed it, and he put his credentials on the coin on the plastic case, and he signed the old football card. Now, Andy Russell was it was written by Art Rooney. He posted the like a thing about him when he passed away, and he said, "We are saddened by the news of the passing of Andy Russell. Andy was a part of the foundation of the great Steeler teams in the 1970s. He was one of the few players who Chuck Noll, kept on the team after he became our head coach in 1969. Andy was the team captain, and his leadership was a critical part of Coach Chuck Noll's development of the 70 Steelers, which paved the way to 4 Super Bowl championships. We were excited to induct Andy into our inaugural Steelers Hall of Fame honor class 2017. Andy went on to have a very successful career in business after his playing days and was a consistent presence in the Pittsburgh community. We extend our deepest sympathies to his wife Cindy and the Russell family, and that was from Art Rooney II, the Steelers president. So getting back to when I sent him the letter to his address, I post, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm at KhalisR786. I post all my, under media, you'll see it under media, I post all my returns that I get back from the players. But this one kind of hit home because when I posted it, it came up that I got in contact with another member of X-Twitter, and their name is Steel City Star, at Steel City Star, lowercase letters. And as you could see, this was back in June now, and it was sent out on X-Twitter that it was heartbreaking that the note that somebody wrote back for him, it said, "Ralph, this was tough for him. He's in memory care and has Alzheimer's." So right there it's saying this gentleman went out of his way to make sure that I got his autograph in the mail going through what he's going through. So, like I said, with the help of Steel City Stars, a very prominent Steeler X-Twitter tag name, follow them, they're really good. He got in touch with me and asked me if it was okay to post it on his social media page right there on X-Twitter. And if you look at it on Twitter, I was astonished by this when I saw this the other day. It came up with 38.6K views, 86 likes, 4 quotes, and 10 reposts, 2 bookmarks. Now, I'm not celebrating the fact that this gentleman sent me his autograph, because if you see what I wrote, very sad note that written back, and I feel very bad on the return, which was very sad, very, very sad. It was a personal note from someone who wrote that for him, and here I am going through the stuff that the guy signed. How did he remember what to write? And now this week he passed on, and I got a little emotional. I went back to the stuff that he sent me, and I made the sign of the cross. And I just want to say, Mr. Russell, rest in peace. My prayers and condolences to your family, sir. What you did for me in my childhood, as being a football player, a Pittsburgh Steeler, I'm sure a gentleman, a man of the community. I thank you very much, sir. And you will be missed. You will be missed. You will be missed in Pittsburgh. You'll be missed by fans. You will be missed by Steeler Nation. And it's just an encounter I wanted to share, because like I said, people, I'm very Steeler oriented. I bleed the black and gold. I bleed it. I swear one day when I bleed, it's going to be black and gold, not red. So I just wanted to share that with everybody out there. I hope I didn't get anybody sad. I'm a little choked up, as you could tell, but the show goes on. Alrighty, so today is a big day, as everybody knows. I'm coming to the end here. It's amazing how fast things go here. Like I said, this was my 10th show, and I love doing this. I thank everybody for in the chat today. To Taryn, Jen B, Patty B, Bishop, all you guys, thank you very much. Yes, Jen B, it was very touching. I'm still choked up. I got tears in my eyes. Patty B, thank you for sharing. Like I said, today's a big day on IE Sports Radio. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have five shows coming up in after me, I should say. So I'm gonna hit the music. I'll just say, congratulations to Patty B. Today is going to be her 100th show. Congratulations. What an accomplishment. I'm following in your footsteps. I hope to get there. Tune into her show. She's going to have some great stuff. She's supposedly having a special guest. Of course, a poem. And she said some giveaways. Very interesting. I'll be tuning into that. All right, everybody. That's the show for today. Enjoy your evening. Again, this is the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Take care, everybody. Love you guys. Enjoy your night. Talk to you next week. Once again, you're listening to the Yinzer Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all of the sports. It's the end of the show. Tune in. Coming up next with Jen B, you have the show of the land. As mentioned, the Buffalo Huddle with Patty B. Her 100th episode. Congrats, Patty. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris. The Neutral Zone with Adam and Zachary. My favorite line with those guys. They are never offsides. And then finishing up, biggest day on IE Sports Radio, Sin City Sports with Cal. Have a good night, everybody. My time is up. Good night.